grade, it's time to take math notes. This is going to help you with the rest of your geometry packet that I gave you. The good news is now that you're watching a video of me, if you need to pause, or Mr. Heiliger suggested if you wanted to mute me when you're done listening, you can do that. So I've put the notes up on the board first so that you don't have to watch me write them. The heading in your math journal, you could pause anytime if you need to get your math journal out and your colored pencils and your pencils. We're doing line relationships. This is going to help you with that PW90 that you may or may not have tried to do yet. Just 3 to talk about. So make sure you get to a point, I'll scoot out of the way, where you can pause the video and see all of the different things that we're going to write down, and I'll talk about them. Our first one is intersecting lines. The definition is that they are lines that cross each other at exactly one point and they form 4 angles. So here's our example. I've drawn line AE and line DC, and they are crossing at point B. So like anything that crosses, another word is just intersection. And you'll notice that they form different angles here. So if you did angle ABD, remember what kind of angle that's called? It's an acute angle. There's one angle. Over here you're going to have the same kind of angle. It's going to be another acute. And then these big angles like ABC and DBE. Did you figure out what those are yet? Obtuse. 4 different angles, 2 acute, 2 obtuse, formed by intersecting lines. Our next one is parallel lines. The definition is lines in the same plane that never intersect and are always the same distance apart. So line AE is parallel to, you might see this sign, line AE is parallel to line DC. That means they're never ever going to touch no matter how far they go on. A good way to think about these is like train tracks or the edges of a sidewalk. They can never get closer because then you're not going to have train tracks or a sidewalk anymore. You're going to have a wreck. Our last one is perpendicular lines, lines that intersect to form 4 right angles. You remember that right angles measure 90 degrees all the time. They look like an L. Sometimes they'll have a little square in them to show you they're 90 degrees. There's that word again, intersect. So perpendicular lines are also intersecting lines. Line AE is perpendicular to line CD. Here's how you might see it written. Line AE is perpendicular to line CD. I forgot what my line was called. So CBE is a right angle, EBD, DBA. These are all right angles that you see in there, and it looks like a perfect T or a cross. That's it for line relationships, and the next one coming up is for your PW92, which is all about polygons. All right, part 2, polygons. This goes along with PW92. Here are your notes. Pause as you need to start copying them down, or you can pause as we go and I can explain them and then you can pause it and write down what I've written down. Polygons, the definition is that they are closed plane figures with straight sides. This is our short list of polygons. Polygons are named by the number of sides they have. This is really easy for you guys because you've been naming shapes for a long time. So we're just gonna make a list of those names. I do have 2 students in here today that maybe can answer questions for me. Okay, boys and girls, something that has 3 sides and 3 angles is called a
triangle.
Thanks for participating. Triangle. A triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles, right? 1, 2, 3, and here are the 3 angles inside. There, there, there. So we're looking at the inside of polygons when we talk about their angles. Tri means 3. Quadrilateral. A quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 angles because quad means 4. I drew a different kind of quadrilateral here. You guys are probably used to thinking about squares and rectangles, which are quadrilaterals, but anything that has 4 sides is a quadrilateral. Next, something with 5 sides and 5 angles is a pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It kind of looks like a little house shape, but a pentagon can be any polygon with 5 sides. It doesn't have to look like that. Hexagon, hex is 6, so it has 6 sides and 6 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exciting stuff. And octagon. Octagon is 8, so it has 8 sides and 8 angles. You can think of a stop sign for an octagon. The only other thing you need to know is that there are 2 different classifications in these. A regular polygon is a polygon where all the sides are the same length and all the angles have equal measurement. I couldn't draw perfect shapes here, but if you think of a perfect square or a perfect looking triangle or some of these other shapes where everything looks equal, that's a regular polygon. All these weird shapes over here are not regular polygons. Any shape you can draw that has straight sides and is closed can be a not regular polygon. You can experiment with drawing different sides of shapes. Different shapes with different numbers of sides. Yeah. Either of you girls want to try?
No.
All right, Gracie's going to come up to the board and try. We've got a little bit of student participation today. All you have to do is make sure it has straight sides and then it connects back to itself.
Okay.
Nice and big because they can't see that. There you go. Okay, there we go. We've got a polygon with, let's count our sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a 10-sided polygon. But it is a polygon because it's closed and it has straight sides. We got one more and then we're done with this section. Gracie drew a not regular polygon. As you can see, not all of the sides are the same.
Okay.
Oh boy. All right. I thought you were doing like a thumbs up at first over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Is that where I started?
Yeah.
We think it's a 22-sided figure. It is a polygon. Thanks for joining us. When you do your worksheet, you have 2 answers to write in here. You have to write what kind of a shape it is. So number 3 is going to be a triangle. And you have to tell whether it's regular or not regular. You don't have to measure. You can look at it and decide, does that look like everything is about the same length and even? Then you would call it regular. If it looks uneven, call it not regular. All right, now we are on to classifying triangles. This is going to be fairly easy at first, but sometimes it's a little confusing because triangles can be called by more than one name. So here are your notes. Again, you can stop me right now and copy them all, or you can wait until I give you the definition and then pause and do it as I go. Sometimes that makes a little more sense. Triangles can be classified by either the length of their sides or by the measure of their angles. So we're going to start over here with the length of the sides. 3 different kinds of triangles. An equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides. It even sounds like the word equal, so I'll get a different color. Equilateral has 3 equal sides. Like this triangle here which is maybe 3 inches and 3 inches and 3 inches, but I don't really know because I didn't measure. Isosceles triangle, you guys know this word from your challenge words and spelling last week, 2 weeks ago? Whenever it was. Isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides and the other one is different. So think of a really tall triangle. This one is 6 inches on 2 sides and then 3 inches on the bottom. The last one is called a scalene triangle. We went from 3 equal sides to 2 equal sides to no equal sides. So any 3-sided figure where all of the sides are a different length. That's how you classify them, with the length of sides. The next way you can talk about them is the measure of the angles. So just like when we talked about angles, we've got 3 different kinds of triangles. You can't have a straight triangle because then it wouldn't be a closed figure. But our 3 angles we talked about, right, acute, and obtuse, you can use those to talk about triangles. A right triangle has 1 right angle. It can look, remember, any of these figures can go any direction. You can imagine them on a piece of paper. This is still a right triangle if it has a right angle. An acute triangle has 3 acute angles, which are going to measure smaller than 90 degrees. And an obtuse triangle has 1 obtuse angle. So if you see a triangle that looks like it has something that has an angle bigger than 90 degrees, it's going to be an obtuse triangle. You can use 2 of these names to talk about a triangle. So this one is an equilateral, and you'll notice that these angles look like they are all smaller than 90 degrees. So this is an equilateral triangle and an acute triangle. This one is an isosceles, and it also looks like an acute triangle. This one is a scalene, and it looks like it could be a large angle there. You could have a scalene that has an obtuse angle, or you could have a right scalene. So you can name them by more than one thing. Okay, at the end of this video now, I want you to, let's see, can you zoom in on this? I have a challenge to issue. I want you to draw this shape with me, and I'm going to ask you a question. It's a challenge question, and anybody who can answer it, I will put a special prize in your work that you pick up next week. So, you know it's going to be a hard question because I'm willing to give you a special prize for it. It's all about triangles. Can you still see this part? Okay, so first you're going to draw a pretty large triangle, and I got to show you how to divide it so that you can answer the question. Put a line down the center, and then from this corner, go up just not quite halfway, and then cross over at this point back to the other corner. And that's your shape. And the challenge question is, how many triangles can you find? If you want to tell me your answer when you come to bring your work next week, or figure out a way to just send me your answer, then I will tell you if you are correct or not, and you get a small treat, prize, something. I don't know what it is yet. How many triangles can you find? It's harder than it looks at first. All right, thanks for joining me in math today.